Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. You know, something that I have talked on this channel about a lot is, like, often we will talk about how Bitcoin futures have been approved, or there's a Bitcoin ETF that the SEC is looking at and they haven't given approval yet. And often in the comment sections of my videos, I'll hear comments like, oh, well, that's Bitcoin, that's not XRP, that's Bitcoin. Well, my response to that has always been that everything is just a matter of time. Bitcoin was the first through the door, and therefore they get a lot of freebies on the front end. But XRP, being the greatest digital asset ever created, it's just a matter of time before XRP is in every product, financial product you can imagine, and that includes futures. Well, here you go. This is from XRP Research Center at XRP Center. At Hoy Boy Global Derivatives Market has unveiled its intention to support XRP futures trading. The dominoes begin to fall, folks. It says that they launched Litecoin futures. Today, traders at Hoy, I don't even know how to say that word, derivative market will for the first time be able to buy Litecoin futures. And then it says they also announced that XRP, which it called Ripple, is the next on its list of growing currencies it allows traders to buy and sell. So XRP futures, here we come. And once they do them, I think I want to say that this is over in Asia somewhere. I can't remember if it's Japan or China, but anyway, once these dominoes begin to fall, the United States will not be left behind. This will happen across the world. Okay. Moving along, and here's just more adoption, folks. I mean, I could change the name of my channel to the Crypto Adoption Channel, because every day I can show you more adoption happening all around you. Now, you look at the coin market cap and the prices and oh, you're all depressed. Well, I'm here to tell you, having been here in several of the bull runs, you're just kicking the screen. You're looking at the screen and it's like, why won't it move? Why won't it move? Why won't it move? And then all of a sudden, boom. That's how it's happened every single time. And it's never directly related to one piece of news. It's always the culmination of a lot of news over a long period of time. And eventually, that demand dam bursts. And it'll burst again. And in my opinion, this time when it bursts, it will burst bigger and larger than it ever has in the history of crypto, because there's just too much money on the way in. And I'll show you that today too. Breakthrough: New Yorkers can buy Bitcoin at traditional ATMs. So now, it says New Yorkers will now be able to buy Bitcoin from traditional ATMs using their debit cards, with a newly granted license from the New York regulator. LibertyX becomes the first such licensee offering debit card Bitcoin purchasing options to New York State residents. How cool is that? So imagine that you're sitting there and you own, like myself, 1 Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, ATMs around the world, people can directly, remember, a regular ATM is tied to their bank account. Now, all of a sudden, imagine the world being able to say, hey, I keep hearing about this Bitcoin thing. And they can buy Bitcoin straight from the money in their on their debit card, in their bank account. That's huge. And I've said a lot. Even though I think that Bitcoin and these proof of work things are technologically wise, they're not near what XRP is, that still does not mean that in the short to mid run that they're not going to go crazy. And I think they are. And I think that, and Brad Garlinghouse said the same thing. He said he's still long Bitcoin even though it's an inferior technology. I believe, I've said down the road, I believe at some point they'll do 1-for-1 swaps. That's all you would have to do. I don't know how that would happen with Bitcoin, but Ethereum's already trying to do it. At some point, if Bitcoin gets in any kind of danger from the proof of work thing, they'll just do a swap. Somebody will organize that. And so it's neither here nor there. but it's not a bad thing for you to own. I was talking to a friend the other day, and the way he said it, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy that was involved in digital assets early on and not own at least one Bitcoin. And that's kind of how I look at it. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. And I'll show you something in a minute that might put it in more perspective. Moving along. This is from Web Surfer, at Web Surfology. He's been sending me a lot of stuff recently, he or she. Crypto deals. Now, I tell you all the time, it's not important what you see the crypto market doing right now. What's important is that you follow the money. Now, follow the money here. Crypto deals dominate VC, venture capital. Doesn't tell the whole story. Bitcoin price doesn't tell the whole story. And he links to an article about how all the venture capital that's coming in. But then he sends another article that's even more interesting to me. There are more than 120 venture capital firms that have invested in blockchain projects. This list contains some of the leading blockchain venture capital firms in the industry. And I pulled the list just so you could see a few names. Blockchain Capital, Digital Currency Group, which we've talked about, Pantera Capital, Blockchain Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, Node Capital, Boost VC, Draper Associates, Saiwan Ventures, Lightspeed Venture Partners, IDG Capital, Finbushy Capital. Now, if you go and look through all of these, there's a lot of major, powerful people. And then for Pantera, look at this. Notable blockchain investments, Basis, Circle, Harbor, all these names that we recognize, Ethereum, Ripple, Stream, Zcash, Abra. Look at the node. Let's go through these as long as I'm here. This is the digital currency group. Ledger, I'm going to name the ones that I talk about a lot. The digital currency group is invested in Ledger, Circle, Blockchain Inc., Abra, BitPay. I already said Circle, Coinbase, Ripple. Now, the first and the second are invested in Ripple. The third, Blockchain Capital, is also invested in Ripple. Circle, Coinbase, Ripple, they mentioned it twice. Kraken, Abra, and then Andreessen Horowitz. Notice all of them so far, now on Andreessen Horowitz, they don't mention Ripple, but I know for a fact it's on Ripple's website, Andreessen Horowitz. So the first four have all invested in Ripple, folks, all of them. Boost VC, Coinbase, Abra, Filecoin, Polychain Capital, Draper, Robinhood, Ledger, Coinbase. You see all these names that keep popping up, folks? I mean, that's not by accident. These people all know. There's Lightspeed Ventures. They're invested in Ripple as well. IDG Capital's invested in Ripple. I mean, it's unbelievable how many, the crisscross here, and how many powerful people are invested in what you and I believe in. It's unbelievable. Well, it is believable because we've done our research and we know exactly what we're invested in. Moving along, the man, Sergeant Obi-Wan, that keeps on sending me good information right here, at SGT OBIWAN, not to be confused with Darth Ripple or XRP Yoda, which I love. I love all my Star Wars sources. Now, listen up, folks. This is very important. Kraken bucks the trend regarding IRS request for users' crypto details. And I'm not going to get into the article itself. He says Uncle Sam will eventually get his piece of the pie. Be prepared to plan ahead, just like exit strategy. And he's 1,000% right here, folks. Do not ever believe that you're going to somehow avoid paying your taxes. You are going to pay your taxes. And so do not be the guy that thinks that because you're in crypto that you're going to somehow be able to hide what you make from the IRS. That's ridiculous. They don't call it a public ledger for no reason. At some point, they're going to be able to somehow tie you to what you own. And so don't do the stupid thing and try to pretend like you're going to hide from taxes. Pay your taxes. And I know Coinbase is really trying to get really good about reporting and all that. They've already turned over a lot of customers to the IRS. So don't think you're going to hide. You need to be upfront with all of the government agencies as far as taxes and all that. Moving along. Got this from BlueNet Crypto, at BlueNet Gaming. Okay, this is a good one. This is from This is a Dutch bank from the Netherlands. ABN AMRO trials Bitcoin wallet where bank holds private keys. Now, I want to give you my thoughts on this after I read this little quote here. This is a Netherlands bank. Netherlands Authority for Financial Markets, AFM, have regularly published press releases over the past period in which they warn investors and consumers of the risks of cryptocurrencies. You cannot, therefore, invest in Bitcoins or other cryptocurrencies at this bank. Now, that is a quote, but then if you look here, they've launched something called Wally. Now this, and this is the most important part, this thing that they're launching it says that they've got 500 clients trialing this Bitcoin storage. Well, pay close attention because the bank wants to do this and hold your private keys. My friends, that would be no different than the bank having your money now, which they can close and declare a bank holiday and control your money. If they hold your private keys, they own your digital assets. And so this, in my opinion, I believe this is the banking system doing a test run to see how the customers react to them doing more or less what they already do, but being able to say, yeah, we custody digital assets. This is not the solution, folks. Them holding our private keys, that defeats the entire purpose. You don't want them to be able to control your digital assets. Moving along, this is from XRP Crypto Wolf, at XRP Crypto Wolf. This is more regulatory certainty on the way. The UK might roll out a definitive regulatory framework for crypto by summer 2019. The UK is leaning toward a neutral approach for cryptocurrencies. The primary goal of the FCA paper is to provide more regulatory clarity for crypto market participants. This is only a good thing, folks. I'm not going to go into that article other than that. I think he said it well here. But that it's all coming, and as you get the clarity. But remember, and this is what I always say, if you had complete regulatory clarity now, then you don't have the potential for the returns on your XRP that you do because we have regulatory uncertainty. That risk level, that risk that scares a lot of people who don't have their money in crypto, that is exactly what allows you the opportunity for tremendous returns. Without that risk and without the scary feeling and without that pain in your stomach when you look at coin market cap, you do not get the potential returns that you have the potential for. You have to have risk, major risk, for major returns. That's how the world works. That's how the world will always work. Moving along. Now this guy, I don't know why I've never given this guy credit, but I've seen him popping up all over Twitter. He does a really good job of going and finding information on the internet behind the scenes. And he found this from IBM's website. Now, we've heard over and over, all I've ever heard, Stellar was working with IBM. Stellar's working with IBM. You've never heard of Stellar working with anybody else except IBM. That's all you ever hear. Well, guess what? On IBM's website, how can IBM blockchain be different? Open for specialized blockchains like Ripple. Okay? He found this on their site. Then down here, driving synergies between blockchains. And then what this is really getting to is interledger. That's what it's really getting to. And what you're gonna have is you're gonna have ledgers across the world that are communicating with each other. And I believe IBM's blockchain will do the same. Who knows? They might be working on a large scale with Ripple. We don't know. But it's really good find by XRP Darin. So let's give him some credit. XRP Darin, and he's at Fame21 More with an E on the end. But this guy's on fire. I see him on Twitter delivering up all kinds of good information. Moving along. This is what I wanted to show you about the Bitcoin thing. Now, I want to make a point here. I'm not saying that you will someday be able to buy an island if you own one Bitcoin. But I am saying this. He says if you have one Bitcoin, you will be able to buy your own island someday. He could be right. Nobody knows. But listen to this. Here's the reason I own one Bitcoin. The scarcity of Bitcoin is the reason I own one Bitcoin. The scarcity and the fact that it was the first one. And the third reason would be because I see everywhere Wall Street coming in with Bitcoin being their flagship thing. That's what I see everywhere I look. Okay. For the mid to long run, no. XRP all the way. XRP is the greatest digital asset ever created. And not just for the mid to long run, XRP for the short, mid, and long run is what I would say. But here's the main reason that I'm a holder of one Bitcoin. And that is because there's 21 million that will ever be created. It was the first mover. That 21 million, they say that there's been lost 5 to 6 million where people have lost their private keys. Okay. And then you've got all these forks that are watering down all of it. And so the way I see it is, why own any part of any of the forks if you can own the original thing? One Bitcoin. Think about the world population. Think about Wall Street coming in with trillions of dollars, and you're able to say that you have one. Think about there's more than 21 million mega millionaires across the world. Okay. So just think about just the millionaires wanting one, but they're going to be greedier than that. They'll want more than one. But just imagine that you've just got that one. Well, that's my one, and I'm going to keep it. So I think everybody should have just one Bitcoin, personally. Okay, I want to show you this. Crypto hacker scores $28,600 after hack a Bitcoin exchange. Attacker bags 8 Bitcoin in local Bitcoin's breach. Local Bitcoins has apparently been compromised. Users are claiming its forums were redirecting them to a login page that was a phishing website. An address shared on social media already has 28,000 worth of BTC in it after tricking 5 victims. Now, this, I keep on telling you folks, and you may get tired of me telling you, you've got to go get a Ledger Nano S. It's in the description of every video I do. As soon as you own whatever you want to own and get it off and you buy it on an exchange, send it to your Ledger Nano S. Right now you can get the Ledger Nano X, which is Bluetooth enabled, and you can get that for, I believe, $119. But they're still selling, probably for a limited time, you can go and get the Ledger Nano S, and those still store your crypto just as good, and they are $59. They used to be $100. So I wanted to mention that again. When I see these crypto hacks, I'll make sure to show you that. Okay, finally, I wanted to, I wanted to give some credit to my 6-year-old. He did his baseball tryout yesterday. This kid, from the time he turned 5, has hit baseballs 3 times a week. Since he turned 5, he goes and works with his older brother. And this kid, I watched him try out in his tryout yesterday, and it was something to watch. And so I teach my kids that the number one thing that you can do in life is be persistent. And so I wanted to show you this quote today. I've shown it several times on this channel. It's my favorite quote, but there's new people that watch this channel. And so here you go. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Calvin Coolidge. Take that quote, cut it out, put it on your refrigerator, read it every day, because that right there is one of just 1 or 2 keys to life. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that persistence is the key. Thank you for listening.